This is News 14 Carolina Meteorologist Matthew East. This is my latest edition of East's weather video, and it's going to be a pretty exciting period in the weather coming up. It looks like a couple of weeks. Take these items one at a time for you. Weather stories that I'm watching for you. First of all, our Sunday storm system we've been talking about for seemingly a long time now. I believe I first mentioned that on one of those way back on the 3rd of January, but it's looking pretty weak. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. Also, a lot of cold air will settle in next week. We're talking highs in the 40s and lows in the 20s, a much colder week next week than what we've seen this week. And the pattern looks very interesting. A lot of folks really hoping for some wintry weather, and we have several chances, it appears, in the offing. Now, there's your surface map at the time I'm cutting this video. This is Friday evening. And things are pretty quiet. We've had a cold front move through our area. There's an area of low pressure back up at the Texas Panhandle. And we're going to see an area of low pressure developing in the Gulf and then moving off of the coast here. And that'll be our Sunday storm system. All right, here's your maps. This is based off the 12Z run today of the GFS model, and I think it's doing a decent job with a lot of the features we're looking at. This is valid 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Notice that disturbance over Texas. That is our next system. By 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon on the surface, not a lot going on to speak of. Pretty quiet day. We'll see some mid and high level clouds overhead. High temperatures in the 50s, but really a pretty quiet day for Saturday. There are 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon, though. That trough turning a little bit negatively tilted as it swings into the southeastern U.S. In response to that, there's your low pressure developing along the Carolina coastline. And it's a pretty weak low. Really, the modeling, most of it has backed off on the intensity of what was once looking to be a pretty powerful low pressure. But as it stands now, almost all modeling indicating that this will indeed be a weak low that develops along the coast. And that will be a system that causes probably some light rain, and it might mix with a few snowflakes or sleet pellets. There we are, 7 o'clock in the evening Sunday, and this just does not look like a major storm system here in the Piedmont. Again, some light rain, a few snow flurries, a few sleet pellets. It just simply does not look like a very big deal as we stand right now. Now let's go farther out in time here. 7 o'clock Monday morning, cold air settling on in here up in the mountains. Some upslope snows will be kicking in. 7 o'clock Monday evening, pretty cold air mass over the eastern United States. There we are Tuesday morning, upslope snows continue in the mountains, and that is the minus 10 degree isotherm up at 850 millibars. Settling into our part of the country. And that's a pretty cold air mass that's going to be moving on in. 7 o'clock Tuesday evening, high pressure settling overhead. That'll give us a very cold night, most likely Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. But let's go on out to 7 o'clock today evening. There is our next storm system, and it's really being advertised by most models to be there. Now, there's track differences, as you might expect, amongst the models, but this is the GFS, and again, this is the 12Z run of the GFS, and I just saw the 18Z run. It is very similar to what I'm going to show you here. Again, this is 7 o'clock Wednesday evening. Low pressure in the Gulf, cold air mass in place along the Carolinas. That would be, if you read this model exactly verbatim, that would be snow pushing into our area. There we are, 7 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning, and again, taking this run of the GFS at face value, this would be a few inches of snow in the Piedmont of North Carolina, changing over to a period of ice Thursday morning before ending possibly as a little bit of rain. And then on down the road, this is next Saturday. Another storm system that could bring us another chance for wintry weather. Now, these systems look pretty good on the modeling right now, but so did our Sunday system about a week ago. So you take all these things with a grain of salt, but I think the thing to note from all this is the pattern looks very favorable, or at least it's a pattern loaded for some wintry weather here in our part of the country. I know a lot of folks are wanting to see that, and hey, I'm one of them as well. I hope we can get some snow in here. And certainly nothing set in stone, but we do have a couple of more possibilities coming up. One Wednesday into Thursday, and another one maybe next weekend. We'll see how all that unfolds, and of course I'll continue to keep you updated as we get closer to those events. And I want to real quick show you way out at the end of the month. This is January, and I obviously take no specifics from this time frame, but that is a nice split flow pattern, and the GFS has been advertising this type of pattern for quite a while now on most of its runs, and that is a pattern that oftentimes leads to some wintry weather in our part of the country. Arctic air gets involved in active southern branch, and that just looks like a wintry weather type of pattern. So it looks like the second half of January could be a pretty exciting one in terms of maybe some winter weather possibilities in our part of the country. All right, that's it for this edition of East Weather Video. Reminders here for you. Of course, you know the blog address. My email address is matthew.east@news14.com, and, of course, News 14 Carolina on the web for you, www.news14.com, and on television, Time Warner Cable, Channel 14 in the Charlotte, Triad, and Triangle television markets. That's it for this edition of the video. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.